Hello, I'm Gaby de la Mora, and today I would like to share with you a practice to remove the anguish that we are presently feeling. Because before all this change, we were probably so absorbed in our dynamics that we had no time for anything else. So a typical day may have looked like getting up, commuting to school or to the office, going long hours to work, struggling here and there, rushing, harboring thoughts like, they don't understand me, they are wrong, this is not enough time, and then getting back home, attend the various family demands, pay bills, and probably get stuck in watching TV or social media, or perhaps participating in social activities away from home. But now we are collectively feeling how this drastic and unexpected change is being prolonged much than what we were expecting. So this uncertainty attached to the sudden interruption of what used to be our regular dynamics and activities, now confined to a quarantine space in solitude or perhaps with a family, increases the activity of the mind and its constant narrative, which is creating a suffocating weight that overwhelms us. So the constant questions may be, and now what am I going to do? At this point, I don't even know what to do. What will I do? This is not improving. Every day is getting worse, and what will happen to my life? What will happen to my economy? What will happen to the world? And as a result of all this anguishing activity of the mind, preoccupied with the worst case scenarios, comes a powerful invasion of negative emotions, of suffering, of anxiety, of despair, loneliness. And for those who think that they are the identity created by their own mind and who have not had the opportunity to discover that their being is much more than what the mind tells them, the great threat is that of collapse and disintegration of that identity. So then the question becomes, what is my role now? And do I have a place anymore? So then this anguish turns into existential panic. So for those people, this change may represent a wake-up call. And for those who are aware, these changes are a great opportunity just to practice being even more present, to know that I am not my mind. Life is not what my mind constantly tells me about it. That is just my mind. Those are just my thoughts, and I am much more than that. So between the relationship of myself and life, there is an immense difference with the story that my mind is always telling me about it. These constant stories of my mind are always trying to take away the peace and the ease of every present moment. If I don't realize that and identify myself with those thoughts, then I will not understand that all the suffering that I am constantly carrying on my shoulders is coming from this narrative. So just reflect upon this. Between your presence and life, you form a perfect entity. You are one with life. Therefore, you are not alone. You are part of a majestic, continuous, and perfect whole. And the only thing that causes you to feel separation, pain, anguish, resentment, chaos is the narrative of your mind or the activity of the unconscious mind constantly streaming an inner soundtrack of negative and destructive thoughts. So this constant activity of the unconscious mind is the responsible of adding all this extra weight that we tend to carry through our lives and does not allow us to be and to flow with ease and joy. But on the contrary, it oppresses us and stops us. So for our practice today, let's go together to the Joshua Tree National Park in California, where you will be able to observe these heavy rock formations as a metaphor of negative thoughts, those negative thoughts that we are carrying constantly, and that today more than ever we need to be aware of in order to liberate ourselves from suffering. Let's do.
Hello, I'm Gaby de la Mora, and today being in this incredible place where I can witness the heaviness of these rock formations. I would like to invite you to reflect upon the heaviness of life because sometimes we feel like life is so tough and it feels so heavy, and all this heaviness is something that you we are putting into it. So if we just learn how to honor each person, element, and circumstance just for what they are, without putting so many meanings to each one of these elements that I just mentioned, you'll see that things are going to begin to feel so different. So, in this practice, just any element that crosses your sight, or any person, or any emotion, or any circumstance that is going on, just refer to that as this doesn't have any meaning, but the meaning that I am putting into it. And this other element doesn't have like any meaning. The meaning that it has is the one that I am putting into it. So just voice that out loud for you to begin to detach all these past associations. And the other practice would be for you to close your eyes, to take 3 deep breaths in, and to enter into this calmness, and to begin to visualize yourself and how you are taking away all this heaviness of the meanings that you are putting into things, circumstances, and life in general. So practice these 2 ways and see how you feel.